What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the MC Show. It's your boy MC. First pod of 2026. I haven't potted in a long time. But we back now. We back in the flow of things. We're going to be more consistent this year. Let's make that our New Year's resolution, people. We're more consistent this year. But first pod of 2026 is going to start off with a banger because we had a trade last night between Washington and Atlanta. So we already starting off with some heat. Please, before we get started, we're gonna talk about some other trade rumors as well for a few players. But before we get started, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Any and all help will be greatly appreciated. Share this video with friends, families, even complete strangers. I know your mom and dad probably told you not to talk to strangers. This is the one time you could break that rule and do it. If you're a pod listener, leave a review, download wherever you get your podcast from. Really appreciate all the help, love, and support I get from you guys. Let's grow this channel together. Let's grow this show together. Now, as I said, and as we've all seen before, Trae Young was finally traded. This season, we kind of knew that this was going to be a storyline because the Atlanta Hawks and him couldn't come to a mutual agreement on a contract extension. So now you have Trae Young going to the Washington Wizards for CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert. That's it. That's the trade. My first reaction when I saw the Trae Young trade was, damn, his value was really in the gutter. For the Wizards to get a 4-time All-Star, one of the best offensive engines in the league, for a guy on an expiring and a young player who's averaging 9 points per game, who's a really good shot maker, and Corey Kispert, wow, that's all it took to get him. Damn! They got him for literally pennies on the dollar. Crazy value, man. But we're gonna try to dive into what we can see from Trae Young from the Atlanta side, and then we'll talk about the Trae Young on the Wizards side, and then we'll talk about a little bit of the Atlanta Hawks because, you know, they seem to be buyers, and we're going to talk about the person who they might buy for. But first, Trae Young, obviously, just to quickly talk about his Atlanta days. He went to the playoffs 5 or 6 times. Obviously, that one conference finals appearance in 2021 where there were 2 games from the finals against the Milwaukee Bucks. He's a 4-time All-Star, made an All-NBA team, like a walking 25, 10 assist guy, an offensive engine onto himself. He obviously has his deficiencies, but you can't look at Trae Young and think, wow, this is a bad player. He's a good player. He's one of the best point guards in the league. His passing, his playmaking, his ability to shoot from long range is undeniable. The most elite thing about him is his passing. Like, his passing is otherworldly. Top 5 passers in the game, I would say. And I don't even think that's crazy to say. Obviously, he comes with his deficiencies. He's small. He can't guard. He doesn't play off the ball, so he doesn't play more than one style. He's not like a malleable. You can't fit Trae Young into your offense. You kind of got to fit your offense around Trae Young. He's that kind of player, which I think teams, if you would ask coaches and whatnot, you would rather have a player that's more malleable than a player who isn't really malleable and you have to be malleable to their play style. His efficiency is really up and down. It's a lot down. I want to say last year he shot like 40 or 41% from the field. For a guy who's as high value shooting as him, like I look at like someone like James Harden. James Harden shoots a ton of shots. He shoots like 44, 45%. Usually, if you look back at his career, like that's kind of where you want players like that at. Again, he's a small guard, but like you don't want to see 41% from your starting point guard or your primary leading scorer. You want someone who's a little bit more efficient. So again, he comes with his deficiencies, but he's a fantastic player. Was box office. Turn on a Atlanta Hawks game, and Trae Young is gonna do something spectacular with his crossovers or his between the leg passes, his lobs, his no look passes, his he has clutch buckets and whatnot. So damn good player. Didn't work out in Atlanta. They had some success, but not the success I bet they were looking for. And now we turn the page onto his Wizards chapter, where obviously they're rebuilding. They have a very, very young team with some good players. Like Trae Johnson can shoot the crap out of the ball. If you watch Trae Johnson at Texas, you know that was the one skill that was going to translate. His ability to catch and shoot is undeniable. He will be one of the best catch and shoot players in the league for a long, 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 long time. Alex Sarr is having a very, very good season. Really, really underrated. He's averaging 17 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. Leading the league in blocks. Wemby's not eligible because he's injured. 2.3 blocks per game, leads the league. Shooting 50% from the field, 36% from 3, 54% from 2s. And I think most notably, he's taking a lot more 2s and a lot less 3s. He has been absolutely fantastic on the offensive side of the ball this year. He's, again, obviously you see he's shooting it better. I'm reading you the percentages. They are all jumps from last season. He's finishing better. He's a little bit more patient. He has a little bit more, like his bag is a little deeper, when finishing in the lane. His bag is a little deeper, Sometimes you would watch him last season and you'd be like, oh man, he made this good move, but he couldn't finish the basket. Oh, he did this thing right, but it didn't click, He would make a good move, but he wouldn't finish. Now he's making good moves. Now he's finishing. His defense has been... The Washington Wizards are, I believe, 30th in defense. If not, they're 29th. They're top 5 worst offense and defense in the league. But I think they're around 30th in offense, if I remember correctly. It's not his fault. Okay? He is contesting shots at the rim at a high frequency because nobody on the perimeter can stay in front of their man. So he's contesting shots at the rim, high frequency. He's been one of the best rim defenders in the league percentage-wise. Teams are shooting in the 50%. You see, I should have been a little bit more prepared. 2026, be more prepared. But he's shooting, he's holding players to around 50% at the rim, which is fantastic. Like he's been nothing short of spectacular. You're looking for a leap from your second year guy. He's taken that leap. Like if he continues to get better every year, like this guy could make a couple All-Star teams. And you add Trae Young to this mix. I like Bilal Coulibaly too. Very good defensively, very athletic. Can't make a shot, but very good. Keyshawn George, like a point forward. I like him as well. Yeah, they got some good young talent. Now you add Trae Young, a 25-10 guy, pick and roll maestro. Like you watch Trae Young in Atlanta, and Trae Young had John Collins averaging like 20 and 10. Like for a few years. Imagine what he can do with Alex Sarr. Like John Collins is like an elite athletic guy, but the pick and pop ability of Alex Sarr, his ability to finish inside, like their pick and roll chemistry is going to be the one thing I'm going to be looking for when Trae Young gets on the court with Alex Sarr. And it may not happen this year, but next season, for sure, that's something I want to be looking out for. Of course, this season, whenever Trae Young gets on the court, I want to be looking for that. But Trae Young, pick and roll chemistry, his ability, he can throw lobs really well. Like, I want to see how well him and Alex Sarr are going to be able to work together. Trae Young is one of those guys where I look at him and I'm like, he can enhance the play of those around him, especially centers. Chris Paul, I think, was that. Chris Paul, DeAndre Jordan, great chemistry. DeAndre Jordan is a completely different player if CP3 isn't there throwing him a bunch of lobs and them developing the kind of chemistry that they did. Tyrese Halliburton, same thing. Him and Miles Turner. Miles Turner has been playing a little bit better as of late, but isn't having the same effectiveness this year on Milwaukee than he had last year or the last couple years with Halliburton in Indiana. Because Halliburton is really good at getting people shots, finding people wide open, whether Miles Turner is picking popping for three, or he has like a mismatch down low, and Halliburton is able to find him on a switch. Like Trae Young is in that kind of hemisphere for me, where I think that if Alex Sarr is averaging 17 and 8 by himself, imagine like Trae Young and Sarr together. Like Sarr can average like 20 plus, 10 plus rebounds. Like his percentages can go up maybe even another level. Like he could be an even more efficient player at the center spot. Like I'm excited for this, man. You know, Washington, this was a buy low trade. You know, if all it took was Corey Kispert and CJ McCollum to get one of the best point guards in the league. His value was really, 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 really low, and the Washington Wizards are not a team that's going to accumulate high-level free agents during free agency. So trades and draft are how you're going to get your players, and they see a guy in Trae Young who's 26 and is young enough to still fit in with the core young guys that they want to keep, and so they decided to pounce on that, and I can't blame them. I think this is a fine trade for them. The Washington Wizards can finally have like some structure on the court when with Trae Young there. Like I see some positives here. Again, they just need to keep drafting and developing, but Trey Johnson, Alex Sarr, Coulibaly, Keyshawn George, like even like AJ Johnson, like they got some good players, and with Trae Young there, they can be a lot more organized on offense. Now the coaching, that's gonna be in another conversation. If the guy who's coaching right now, I don't even know his name. That's how much out of tune I'm with the Washington Wizards. I watched them some, but I can't tell you what the coach's name is. I'll be completely honest. But is that coach going to be there for the future to help with the transition from a bottom feeder team to like a playoff team? But I like to trade for the Philadelphia Washington Wizards. Moving on to the Atlanta Hawks. They get CJ McCollum, who's averaging 18, 19 points, shooting 39% from three. Corey Kispert has been a little injury riddled lately. He's averaging 9 points. Last few seasons, he's been averaging in double figures, 11 to 13, in that range. He's also shooting 39% from three, though, 67% on twos. Elite shot maker as a role player. Like, CJ McCollum slides into that starting lineup. I guess you're going to get Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who's been having a fantastic season off the bench. You're going to have him coming off the bench, but he's been fantastic this year. Him, Dyson Daniels, who... Low-key, Dyson Daniels and Zachary Sachet have not been good this season. Zachary Sachet is coming off a very, very good game recently. But Dyson Daniels has only made 7 threes this season. His offense just is not good. And his defensive playmaking, like, he's supposed to be the great barrier thief. He's not thieving. He's not thieving at the same rate that he was thieving last year, you know? He's still thieving. He's just not thieving the same thieving. You know what I'm saying? Like, his defense, he's not making the defensive splash plays that he was last year. So his defense has taken a little bit of a step back. His offense has definitely taken more of a dramatic step back. But maybe with CJ McCollum, it'll help a little bit, because maybe CJ McCollum can initiate a little bit more. Have the ball in his. You can put the ball in CJ's hands a little bit more. Take it out of Dyson Daniels' hands. Zachary Sachet again has been struggling as well. I don't think Zachary Sachet is someone you look at as an all-star, even though he was the number 1 overall pick. But he should be better, and I think he's a guy that can be like a starter on like a playoff team, a finals team, and whatever. But I think they'll help. I think they'll help. Obviously, they're buyers at this trade deadline, because I think they want to win. I don't think they want to be in a play-in tournament right now, which is the spot that they're in. But that's the spot they're usually in. They're usually really, really mid every single season. that's probably why. That's part of the reason why they traded Trae Young, is just because they just completely stay in the middle. Them, Miami, Chicago, perennial playing teams. It's crazy. But I think the more important thing when it comes to Atlanta is this opens up the ability to try to trade for Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis has a massive salary. I want to say he's making around $60 million this year, even next year. I think he's up for an extension soon. Porzingis has been sick. I can't even say he's been hurt. He's been really sick. He's dealing with POTS. Is that what it is? But he's dealing with an illness right now. I mean, you could have baked that into the season because Porzingis is always hurt, but like the sickness part, you don't wish sickness on anybody. So we wish him nothing but the best. Hopefully get better. But Okongwu has been good, but he's a 6'9" center, and they need another body at the center spot. Here comes Anthony Davis. Potentially playing center, which is something he hates. That's the player who it looks like they're going to pivot to. Who is a part of that trade? I'm assuming Porzingis, just because of salary reasons. Maybe Risa is a part of that. Maybe some of their bench guys, I don't know, Krejci or whatever, could be a part of the trade. But Anthony Davis has been in trade rumors because you see, obviously Dallas isn't really going anywhere this season. Kyrie could come back this season, but I wouldn't think it doesn't change their direction. They're a play-in ish team. I expect them to be 10, 11, 12, somewhere in that range. Although they've been playing better the past 2-3 weeks. Cooper Flag has definitely improved a little bit. They're getting better point guard play, although it doesn't seem like Ryan Nembhard is in the rotation right now, even though I think he should be. But they're getting good production from like Brandon Williams and whatnot. So they're a more competent team that now than they were, in November, I would say. But there's like no point in keeping Anthony Davis. I understand if they do keep Anthony Davis, because if you're like, listen, we can at least be a competent team with Kyrie, Cooper Flag, and Anthony Davis. And I agree. I agree that they can be a competent team if they do decide to keep Anthony Davis. However, with Anthony Davis's injury history and his, like, the big question mark on his extension, and the fact that the Dallas Mavericks have no assets, no picks after this upcoming draft in 2026, you might just want to get Anthony Davis you might want to trade Anthony Davis just to get some assets back. And Atlanta Hawks could be a team looking to acquire him because, again, they're buyers. They want to win. You look at this team, which is crazy because they're 18th in offense, 16th in defense. They've obviously been better without Trae than with Trae this season. But it's not like they've been dramatically better. And it's not like CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert is going to make them contenders or whatever. But Anthony Davis could 100%, if he's healthy, and we pray for that he's healthy, even though he's unfortunately not a lot of the time. Anthony Davis is the guy that can dramatically affect this team's projection for this season. Like, the East is so wide open. The Knicks have been they're good. They're probably the favorites as of right now because they're number 2 in the East. And they have more experience than the Detroit Pistons, who are number 1. But Detroit just spanked them. They're on a little... They just beat... Who did they just beat last night? Was it Orlando? No, Orlando beat Brooklyn. Paolo Banchero game winner. This close to be a foot on the line. But they did win their last game. They did lose to like the Spurs, lost to the Pistons and whatnot. So, but all in all, they're not a team that like you're scared of. You're not scared of the New York Knicks. I don't think you're scared of the Detroit Pistons. Their defense is great. The offense has been coming along. They do need some shooting. So We'll see if Detroit are buyers at the deadline. I thought Detroit actually is someone who probably could have used Corey Kispert. Warriors probably could have used Corey Kispert. I thought maybe the Rockets, the Spurs could have used Corey Kispert. I think a lot of teams probably could have. The guy is a damn good shooter. He's a damn good shot maker. But the East is just so wide open. Boston has been fantastic. They lost to Denver last night, but they've been fantastic. The East is wide open, and I'm pretty sure Atlanta in the front office are looking like, hey, if we can make a big splash move for somebody like Anthony Davis and then fill out the rest of the roster, we have our all-star Jalen Johnson, then we could probably do some damage. So, but we'll see. I don't know if Anthony Davis is going to get traded, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does, and I wouldn't be surprised if Atlanta is the team to acquire him. Now, Giannis. So, yesterday, the Milwaukee Bucks, who've been playing better as of late since Giannis has come back from his injury, they did lose to Golden State, though. He did have 34 points in 30 minutes. I mean, the guy's averaging 29, 10, 5.5 assists, shooting 64.5% from the field. That's a career high. This guy is unreal. If you watch his highlights from that game, like it's with Draymond guarding him, like he was efficient too. He was like 15 of 22 from the field for like 34 points in 30 minutes against the Warriors. Like he's just been absolutely unbelievable this season. There's been a lot of trade rumors because they're obviously underperforming, which is not surprising to me. Like I said this in one of my previous videos. Maybe I should make it a short or something just for you guys to see. But I said in one of my previous videos that a lot of people were high on this team, and I'm just like, I don't see it. I'm pretty sure that after last night's loss, they're 11th in the Eastern Conference. Like, I just don't see. It's like some people had them like 6th in the East, missing the play-in tournament. Like how? I don't get it. And Giannis' shooting is just not enough to compete in the East, even though the East is weak. With no Tatum and no Halliburton. Like, it's just not enough. They lost to the Wizards 2 times. Like, I don't understand how before the season guys are looking, and even as good as Giannis is, and as good as Giannis has been this season, I just never understood how people could be super high on this team as if they were going to somehow get like the 5th, 6th seed in the East. So this doesn't surprise me at all in terms of the way they're playing and their record. But Sam Amick for New York Times did release an article talking to Giannis after the last night's game, and Giannis literally said he's never going to request a trade out of Milwaukee. He's 100%, he's 1,000,000% committed to the Milwaukee Bucks, to his teammates, to the organization and whatnot. Which sounds like I feel like Giannis and his representation the past couple of weeks low-key be trolling like, hey, listen, we didn't really ask for a trade. Even though Shams would release a story being like, hey, we're in discussions of what's best for his future, he might get traded. But Giannis be like, yeah, he wouldn't be serious about his answers. This was definitive. This was like, hey, guys, I'm not leaving. I'm committed. I'm 10 toes down with the coach and whatnot. Now, I feel like there was a point where he's like, hey, listen, could I change my mind? Absolutely. I think Doc Rivers said the same thing in an article like, hey, technically you could change your mind because we're all human. We all could change our minds about things. But as of right now, I don't expect Giannis to get traded this year. I don't expect... Like, I think teams are going to call and ask. I think he's going to turn them down. I think he's committed to this team for this season. I think the next time you want to check in on Giannis is if he declines that extension that is going to be offered to him next season. That's the next time we are looking at if Giannis is really, really 10 toes down. As of right now, it seems like he's 10 toes down. I know a lot of teams are going to look like Golden State, Miami, even Atlanta. Like Atlanta, even if they don't get Anthony Davis, I expect them to do their due diligence and seeing if they could try to acquire Giannis. And if you're trying to acquire Giannis without trading Jalen Johnson, I'm not sure how that's going to work, but I assume Atlanta would try to do that to pair them two guys together. But it looks like he's not leaving. I feel like sometimes we spend a little bit too much on these trade speculations with star players, especially with Giannis. But like, he's not leaving. Point blank period. Could he leave next year? Sure. It's possible. But as of right now, it doesn't look like Giannis Antetokounmpo is leaving the Milwaukee Bucks. It's not like he doesn't seem like he's requesting a trade. It doesn't seem like he's really unhappy. I think he's committed to the team. I think he wants to get better. And that tells me that the Milwaukee Bucks are probably going to be buyers at the deadline. Zach LaVine. I expect them to try to go get Zach LaVine, if I'm being honest. A secondary option who can score, shoot. LaVine is having a pretty decent season in Sacramento, and I'm pretty sure Sacramento will love to get off his contract. He's has high 40s. That's his next couple years of his contract, and I'm pretty sure that last year is a player option. But I expect them to go after him. I don't know who they'll trade to get him, but at Sacramento, you could probably just finesse him. But yeah, that's it on the Giannis front. I don't expect him to leave. We'll see if he declines the extension that will be offered to him in many more months. I think October 1st is when he's eligible to be offered the extension. Then we'll come back to it. But as of right now, it says Giannis seems like he's gonna stay. Last guy we're gonna talk about, Jonathan Kuminga. I saw on Twitter Jonathan Kuminga from Anthony Slater that the Warriors might consider keeping Jonathan Kuminga past the deadline. What? What do you mean you might keep Jonathan Kuminga past the deadline? You have $22.5 million sitting on your bench doing nothing. And you're a team trying to compete for a championship. And there's $22 million sitting there doing nothing, collecting DMPs. Even if you blow out a team, he's not even getting in to play 10 minutes. And garbage time or short spurts here. He's not even doing that. So what do you mean you're going to keep him past the deadline? That's dumb. Like, Warriors, front office people, do your job and put talent around Steph Curry. He's averaging 29 points per game. Jimmy's averaging like 26 and 6. DeAnthony Melton is finally getting healthy and looks better. Al Horford's finally looking a little better. You know, you got good contribution from Will Richard. Pods has looked better. Like, you've had some tough losses. The Clippers lost, the Toronto Raptors lost, but like, this doesn't make any sense if you keep Jonathan Kuminga past the deadline. And if you do keep Jonathan Kuminga past the deadline, you have to play him to make it work. To find a way for him to be effective. Like, on the team. He's just collecting DMPs, collecting dust for no reason. There's no way you can have that big, gigantic salary. And it's not as big as, obviously, the $60 million that Curry and Jimmy Butler are on. But it's a massive salary. And then you add on to the fact that Buddy Hield is in the rotation. He probably should get traded too. Maybe even Moses Moody, because you have DeAnthony Melton playing really well. And I think DeAnthony Melton should be starting, hopefully, when his minutes are able to be ramped up by the coaching staff. Like, you need some depth, especially in the front court. And if Jonathan Kuminga is not your answer to that depth, then there's no point in keeping him on the team. If I had to bet money today, I would expect Jonathan Kuminga to be traded. But based off what Anthony Slater had said, if he somehow does not get traded, I'm going to be upset. Warriors fans are going to be upset. Because you have not done enough for a team that's 20-18 right now to to compete in the West, where the Spurs are I don't even know if it's say they're coming. They're here. The Spurs are here. Oklahoma City Thunder. I know they've been shaky lately. They had a really, really close win against the Utah Jazz last night. So you have those two teams. Denver just beat Boston with no Jokic, and they've been playing pretty good without Jokic. The day before, did Jamal Murray play against the Philadelphia 76ers? I don't think so. But they won that game as well. Like, they almost beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. I believe Cleveland only won by 4 points. Like, Denver's not going anywhere. Once they got Christian Brown back, they got Aaron Gordon back. Jamal Murray's an all-star. Payne Watson is playing out of his mind right now. They're getting good contributions from Zeke Naji and Jalen Pickett and Tyson or whatever. They're not going anywhere. Minnesota's a good team. They're not going anywhere. They just beat Miami. I don't want to talk about Miami. That's another podcast, ladies and gentlemen. But they just beat Miami 2 times. The West is tough. It's jumbled, and there's no way if you're a team that wants to compete and wants to be in the jumble with like the Houstons and the OKCs and the Denvers and whatnot, the Minnesota Timberwolves, even the Lakers are better than them. There's no way you can faithfully sit on Jonathan Kuminga's $22.5 million and do nothing about it. That's just my spiel about it. Again, I expect him to be traded. Where, I don't know. There's the Pelicans, there's the Suns, there's the Kings and whatnot. Obviously, Warriors fans and whatnot want Michael Porter Jr. or Trey Murphy. That would be a good trade if you get Michael Porter Jr., if you get Trey Murphy and whatnot. They need front court depth specifically for whoever they trade Jonathan Kuminga for. But they need to get some value out of him. There's no way that he can be staying on the bench. And yeah, that's it, man. Great first pod of 2026, ladies and gentlemen. We got our first trade of the season. I expect more trades. For certain, I think there's teams that are in the playoff race are going to be buyers. Then there's going to be teams like Sacramento who are going to be looking to sell. Are they going to sell Sabonis, who's been hurt? I don't know. I know they definitely going to try to sell on what's his face, Zach LaVine. So we'll see what that happens. We'll see if Andy Davis gets traded and whatnot. But for now, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And our help would be greatly, greatly appreciated. If you're a podcast listener, please don't forget to leave a 5-star rating or leave a 4-star rating. That's fine too. But leave a rating nonetheless. Leave a review. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.